Hey, what is up, mortals? It is I, Keishan VA, here with a new video for you. Welcome to Season 2, Part 6 of What If Deku Was Taskmaster. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. So, we begin. With the internships over and done with, the students returned to Class A and began reflecting on their various experiences. Most of the students had an uneventful week, but some, namely Ida, Izuku, and Ochiko, had quite the stories to tell. The last of those students appeared to have undergone the most significant transformation. Her body was now enveloped in a fierce aura that contrasted with her bubbly personality.
Oh, Midoriya, what happened to her? It's like she's in some awakened state.
Honestly, I'm just as confused as you. I ran out for a run and left her out with my dad for her first battle training session. When I got back, it was like something had snapped in her. As he and Tokiyami continued to chat about their friend, Izuku's eyes briefly panned to Tenya Ida. In Hosu, his father and Manuel filled Izuku in on the name of the villain he had fought, and told him why Tenya had run off unattended. Sympathetic to his situation, he tried to support his classmate, but Ida wouldn't have it. Only one thought was running through the boy's head: getting revenge on the man who crippled his brother. He didn't view Izuku's interference that night as a friend coming to his aid, but a nuisance that disrupted his quest for vengeance. As such, the two were on bad terms, with neither willing to bridge the gap. A few moments passed and the number one hero entered the class and announced that they would have a rescue training drill in Ground Gamma. Everyone wore their hero suits and followed the teacher to the specified location. The training drill went well, with Izuku finishing first in his group. After this exercise, the group changed back to their uniforms and returned to class. While there, Mr. Aizawa informed them about an upcoming summer training camp that they could only attend if they passed the final exam. The test would consist of two portions, a written and a practical portion. Despite some feeling confident in their ability to pass the written portion, most of the class was worried about the practical portion because they had no idea what was in store for them. Rather conveniently, the answer to their concerns would present itself in the cafeteria in the form of Itsuka Kendo. After shutting Monoma up with a chop to the neck, she let them in on some valuable info.
I know it's a little unfair, but I heard from an older student that the practical is just fighting a bunch of robots, like the ones from the entrance exam.
Monoma started to wake up and question why she would relay such precious intel to the detestable Class A students, thus prompting her to knock him out again. Izuku and his friends found the interaction odd but were thankful for the heads up. As they continued to enjoy their lunch, Izuku had an unexpected visitor.
Oi, Deku, come with me.
For what?
I'll explain later. Just come.
What's wrong with explaining now?
Would you stop acting smart and just listen to me?
No, I don't think I will. I'm enjoying my lunch right now and don't really feel like being dragged away for some pointless reason. Bakugo frustratedly sighed as he said,
We gotta go meet with Mr. Aizawa. They'll explain everything to you.
All right, but can it wait till after lunch?
No! We're meeting him now!
The blonde sternly replied. Midoriya was understandably suspicious of this, but the boy's demeanor felt different from usual. So, perhaps this was an urgent meeting. The two boys navigated the UA campus until they finally reached their destination, a massive white room with their teachers sleeping in the center. Eraser cursed under his breath at his students' punctuality because he hoped to get at least 2 more minutes of shut-eye, given they had stolen his lunchtime nap. He reluctantly lifted himself from his sleeping bag and pulled out 2 briefcases sporting the UA logo.
So, you guys want to do a warm-up first? Nah! We don't got much time anyways, so let's get straight to it!
Katsuki said as he started taking off his uniform while approaching one of the briefcases. Izuku still needed clarification on the situation and was prepared to ask his teacher why he was there, but his teacher asked something first.
What's wrong, Midoriya? Are you going to fight without your gear?
What do you mean fight? Bakugo told me that you needed to meet me.
Nope, this was all his idea,
the man said while turning Izuku's attention to the blonde. What's this about, Bakugo? The boy remained silent as he equipped his gear, causing Izuku to ask again. What's this about? If you wanted a sparring session, why not just ask? Katsuki angrily grit his teeth at the statement before composing himself and saying,
Just put your gear on already, and don't hold back!
The green-haired teen paused momentarily, trying to understand Katsuki's motives. Could this be about the sports festival? I guess he just wants payback for his loss, he thought before walking towards his hero gear. Fine then, if that's all this is, I'll humor him for a few rounds.
As he equipped himself, a question came to mind. "Oh, by the way, how do we know who wins?" His teacher pointed to the circle in the center as he said,
"You two will fight in there, and whoever gets knocked out loses."
Once Izuku was ready, the fight kicked off. Bakugo was as aggressive as ever, but Izuku could see all his attacks coming. After about 20 minutes, Katsuki lost 5 rounds in a row, and Izuku was bored. So, while the blonde caught his breath, Midoriya started taking off his gear.
"You're already done?"
He hasn't said anything, but I'm guessing this is just his way of trying to repair his ego after losing in the sports festival final. I only fought to humor him for a bit. Now I want to go finish lunch.
Mr. Aizawa told Izuku to wait before having a private talk with Bakugo. Bakugo then slowly approached Izuku while avoiding eye contact and, overall, looking uncharacteristically skittish. He gritted his teeth and started to force out his words. Do I have to? He shouted towards the Racerhead.
"You're the one who told me this is necessary for you to be the best. So, if that's the case, how badly do you really want to be number 1?
He turned his attention back to Izuku as he continued. I did this because I thought sparring with you could let me understand what I lack." The boy started to nervously rub his neck as his voice lost its usual aggressiveness and became more sincere. "You've already beaten me 3 times, so if I'm going to be number 1, I need your help." Midoriya stood silent with his mouth gaping. Did Bakugo just ask me for help? From me? Izuku paused to examine his body language. Thanks to his experience with the boy, he could tell it was a genuine ask for help. He was nervously rubbing his arm, he was reluctant to maintain eye contact, and his posture was hunched slightly. With this in mind, he decided to offer his support, and the two trained together until the end of lunch. Afterward, they agreed to continue training together over the next few days. As more time passed, it was eventually time for the final exam. First, Class A completed the written portion, and then got ready for the practical. They wore their hero suits and gathered at the designated testing area where 8 teachers were gathered. This was strange because their previous classes had never featured so many pros. Their principal, who was snuggling in Eraserhead's capture cloth, explained that due to the villain's attack, UA had decided to revamp the practical exam. The new format would feature pairs of students fighting a teacher. Mr. Aizawa disclosed the matchups, and Izuku and Bakugo felt a shiver run down their spines as they stared at their chosen opponent, the number 1 hero himself, All Might. Mr. Aizawa explained the rules of the battles, announced that the pairs would have 20 minutes to strategize, and dismissed the students. Izuku and Bakugo met up and racked their minds for a plan against their teacher. Thanks to their training together, their interactions were much chummier, and since they were no longer at each other's throats, coming up with a strategy wasn't too tall of a task. However, their opponent was still the number 1 hero, so they decided to spend most of their time running through various battle scenarios and contingency plans. Once it was time for their test, they picked up some handcuffs, met with their teacher, and were driven to their battle area. Once it was time to start, their teacher sent an enormous gust of wind that trashed the area and knocked the boys off their feet. The pro then slowly approached the boys while mostly shrouded by dust kicked up by the wind.
Well, boys, it's time to begin your test.
Bakugo wasted no time and lunged at the man.
Bring it, old man!
Izuku desperately called to his partner. Wait, stop! This isn't the...
Screw the plan! I'll kill him myself!
He shouted while blasting his teacher's face. This didn't even faze the hero as he grabbed Katsuki's arm and slammed him into the ground. Izuku then quickly turned, fired his thrusters, and launched into the air, abandoning his teammate and heading for the exit. Unfortunately, All Might easily caught up and landed a double axe handle to the back, sending Izuku crashing through a wall and into the top floor of a nearby building. Taskmaster could hardly breathe as he tried to stand while thinking.
Oh, come on! He's still that fast? Even with May's weights?
Just then, the pro entered the building to examine the boy. He lifted him by the head and said,
What a shame. Eraser and I were hoping you two were on better terms, but oh well.
All Might punched him in the stomach hard enough to throw him at the wall.
Perhaps this will be a good lesson to you both. You can't.
Just then, Bakugo flew past the Izuku-shaped hole in the wall, sent an explosion at the two, and laughed maniacally while taunting the pro.
Well, at least he's not short of confidence,
he said while turning his attention from Bakugo to Izuku, who was lying motionless on the ground.
Seems like you're not going to cause me any more trouble, but I'd better tie you up soon. I should also keep you two close together so I don't have to lug these things around so much. Did they really have to make mine so heavy?
He walked toward the hole, which was now covered by the smoke from Katsuki's explosion. All Might slowly waved the smoke away, while darting his eyes around to locate the blonde. As he got closer and closer to the hole, his eyes locked onto a small metal object on the ground.
What in the world is that?
Suddenly, the object detonated, releasing a massive blast. Luckily, All Might barely managed to leap away from the explosion.
So, Bakugo has extra explosives!
While in the air, Bakugo flew toward him with a wide grin.
Time to die, number one!
He shouted while showering the teacher with explosions. They didn't do much as he extended his fist and punched the air to generate a force that would let him crash into Bakugo. The blonde was able to dodge, causing All Might to crash to the ground.
Not bad, young Bakugo, but try dodging this!
All Might muttered while preparing another attack. Bakugo keenly watched the pro's body language. The moment his legs tensed for him to jump towards the blonde and punch him down, Katsuki created an explosion to dodge the attack while showering him with more blasts.
He dodged that too?
While in the air and surrounded by smoke, the man felt a small object bump into him.
What the?
His words were cut off by the object detonating and unleashing a large explosion that sent him crashing to the ground.
The same explosive as before? So he lured me into the sky where I couldn't dodge, eh?
All Might picked himself up, cracked his neck, and prepared another attack.
Alright then, hero. If you're gonna prey on my limits, then I'll respond in kind.
He said while lifting his arm.
Texas, smash!
The man shouted as his fist clashed with the earth and caused a large dust cloud to form. Bakugo surveyed the area while muttering,
Crap! I can't read his movements with all this dust!
Good! That was my intent!
He said as he instantly appeared behind Bakugo and landed a double-axe handle on his back, which caused him to slam into the ground. Katsuki endeavored to pick himself up, but his teacher slowly approached, placing his foot on his back and stomped him back into the ground.
It's a shame, young Bakugo. You put up a good fight. If only you had cooperated with young Midoriya, you might have even managed to win. Speaking of which, I'd better...
What the hell are you yapping about? We're not done yet.
Oh my, is your bravado truly boundless? Even in such dire circumstances... Wait, did you say we?
Just then, an ear-splitting, high-pitched noise echoed through the area. All Might quickly cupped his ears for protection, but it wasn't enough. His balance was disrupted and he felt wobbly.
What's going on? Could this be young Midoriya? No, it's coming from young Bakugo.
He searched the student for the device emitting the sound, and a question came to mind as he did.
Hold on! This attack seems more like something young Midoriya would think of. Have they been cooperating this whole time?
As he questioned this, 4 arrows touched his back. 2 explosion arrows with the same blast power as the devices Bakugo was using, and 2 supercharged taser arrows, amidst the noise. They snuck past All Might's senses, and he didn't have time to dodge. The arrows connected with a loud boom while several bolts of electricity rushed through the pro's body. He was on one knee and struggling to get up. His balance was slightly off due to the sound. His nervous system was in shock due to the tasers, and the consecutive intense explosions had dealt some damage. Finally seeing his chance, Izuku rushed in and plucked his partner from the man's clutches. "Well done, Bakugo," he whispered as the two made their way to the exit and their victory was confirmed. With the battle won, Izuku and Bakugo were taken the recovery girl, and she scolded their teacher for going overboard. While she did this, she left the room so the pair could rest, but they decided to spend their time discussing the match. However, what started as a friendly talk between partners patting each other on the back shifted into an argument over who the MVP was.
You gotta be kidding me! Who cares if you're playing a trick and with a fake argument worked? I'm the one who did all the heavy lifting!
Oh, you mean the heavy lifting that only happened because I gave you my super explosives and sonic disruptor? And besides, my taser arrows finished the job, so I'm obviously MVP.
Oh, come on! That doesn't count! Your girlfriend's the one who made that junk!
She's not my... What does it even matter if I didn't make them? Did you make any of your gear, huh? Didn't think so. At least I designed mine.
Hey! For your information, I designed my gauntlets and grenades!
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the stuff you didn't use because my explosives are better? That's the stuff you designed?
Why, you little... You're lucky all might messed up my back or I'd kick your butt!
Oh, please. You still haven't beaten me in any of our training sessions.
Fine! Are you free tomorrow?
He aggressively asked. Yeah?
Then let's use your dad's dojo.
Sure. I don't mind kicking your butt again.
Shut it, you arrogant moron! Oh, and another thing. I thought of a new move I call Cluster. To make sure it's truly unpredictable. I'd appreciate it if you let me murder you with it!
I'd be happy to let you try. So I can crush your ego some more. Mr. Aizawa, who came by to check on his students, witnessed this and was quite confused by their bizarre interaction.
So, are they still mad at each other, or are they friends now?
Drop a comment about your favorite series and leave us some suggestions. Thanks to our team for another amazing video. If you're interested in joining our team and you're 16 years of age or older, feel free to check out the link in the description. Thank you all for watching till the end. Have a great day.